to another Running on Air video. In this one I'll be looking at the D10 factory reset and how to back up patches and copy new patches via Midi. I'll also be looking at how to back up patches from data cards. But before I get into it, if you'd like to support the channel, then you can check out some of my tracks on Bandcamp, and there's a couple of albums on streaming as well. So let's get to it. So first of all, there's a number of resources which you're going to need to be able to do this. Roland provides good instructions in how to do a factory reset on a D10, which I've got over here on this screen. Now I'm going to go through the whole thing. Now first of all, to scrub all the data, we have to turn off the synth. We turn it back on and we hold the tune function and right keys together, like this. If I have a look at, if I go into the performance patches and then select internal, it just says in this initial patch, and it says that for all of them, they're gone. So bear in mind there's sequence data as well, and that will be gone. So how do we get it back? On this page we can download the original data from Roland. We have to agree to whatever, I'm not sure. And then we get data we want. And you can see this file actually covers a whole host of synths. So if you've got quite a collection, you may well be back here several times. But we want, now this confused me at first, but in actual fact it's the same for the D10 and the D20, which is why it says D1020. As you may remember or may know, there was no such thing as a D1020. So if we open that, and then we have a MIDI file. Now, typically with a MIDI file, you put it into a sequencer and you play it. And I've tried various things. I've not tried it with my DAW, which is Cakewalk, but I did try it on a MIDI player which came with Midiox. And I got an error. It was able to transfer the patches, but it didn't do so well with everything else. So the best way to do it is to actually use the Bome Sendsx. I've not had any problems with this at all. So once you've downloaded it, all you then need to do is start it. So I'm going to start that now. So I'm going to open this up. So what we need to do now is prepare the D10 for receiving the file. So let's do that. First of all, we have to disable the memory protection, otherwise it's just not going to work. So you do that by going to the tune function. I'll do it again. Tune function, and then use the display up, and you see memory protect, and then you reduce the value to off. Then you can exit that. So now we have to set up the data transfer itself. So you press the data transfer button. Now at that point it says card select. We don't want card at this stage. We're looking for one-way bulk, load, and these are the two choices, dump or load. Load. And we want to load everything because it's got patch data and it also has the MIDI sequence data as well. So then we can just press all, sure, then we press enter. And at that point it goes into a waiting mode, and all we need to do is send the data. Data sending, and the display says it's loading. So on the screen it flashes up complete, then we can check the patches. Just go there. You can see can see they all work, it's all fine. Okay, so we've done reset and reloading patches, and that was relatively straightforward. The next bit, I'm going to look at cards, data cards. I've got a few of them here. What can we do with these? Ideally, you'd like to be able to back them up to your PC. Now, there's no direct way of doing that. So what you have to do is copy the card to the D10, and then you transfer the data from the D10 over to the PC, and you can also then transfer it back. You can build up a library of digital sound banks using cards. So technically, I don't know, you shouldn't be doing it, but it's been a long time. I mean, these came out in the 1980s, so we're looking at 35 years. It's kind of amazing they still work, and I don't think it's such a big deal if you want to make sure that if the card stops working, you've still got the data. That seems fairly reasonable from my point of view. Distribution, on the other hand, a bit more questionable perhaps, but even so, no one's going to make money out of these anymore. I don't see how that would be possible, so it's not like anyone's being undercut. Anyway, everyone has their own thoughts about that sort of thing. I'm not going to get into it too much, although actually I just did. But I'm going to stop getting into it because I don't really want to. Now, let's have a quick look at what we can do then. So at the moment we have the factory sound bank. Wow, I'm really on form for hot chords today. So we've got the factory sound bank. So let's put a card in. The Valhalla cards have got sounds which are so good that it makes you question the old idea that the D10 is crap, because these are very, very good indeed. So let's pop one of these in. Going over to the card is pretty simple. Just choose your sounds. And then if we go internal, so to transfer the card over to the synth, we go to data transfer, and this time it says card select, which we didn't want last time. This time we do want it, and we want to load and all and enter for sure, so it's complete. So what you find now is that all the sounds have been transferred across. Although that's not immediately obvious from the display, you have to actually punch in a new patch. Ooh. Now the problem is you can't get the factory sounds back easily unless you had a card with the factory sounds on, which of course I don't think there was ever one made. So you would have to do a Midi transfer, but you know how to do that now, so that shouldn't really be a problem. So how do I save those sounds? Now that's one of the Valhalla cards. What I'm going to do this time is I'm going to use Midiox to do it. Now this is all connected up already, but it's probably worth showing you how to connect this thing. At the moment it's displaying the input and the output. These timing clocks are actually coming from the synth itself, because of course it has that sequencer function, so it's looking to send a sync signal out. Alright, so this one just shows you activity on the MIDI ports, and I believe maybe it's this one. Yeah, this one you can choose which MIDI devices you're using. So I'm using the 8th input and output on this MIDI Sport device. So I'm all set up and I'm ready to go. With this one, we're not going to be dealing with MIDI files, we're dealing with Sendsx files. So what I want to do then is I'm going to receive a manual dump. So it's sitting there and it's just waiting for data to come. So the next thing then I want to do is to send this dump. So what I'm going to do, it's data transfer, and you can see it says card select. We don't want card, we want one-way bulk, but this time, whereas we were loading last time, this time we're going to dump. So we're going to dump. We don't want to dump everything, we just want to dump the sounds. So we then select, then break it down between sound and rhythm, rhythm being the sequencer information, and then we press the sound, and then it wants to confirm. So I'm going to press enter, and it's sending, and you can see the data coming across on Midiox now. It takes a little bit of time. And that's stopped. This is stopped. So done. Right. Okay, good. So now we can save that. Under display window, we have the save as. And you can see I've actually already saved various things, including the factory patches, which I wanted as a Sendsx file. So I've effectively converted them from the Midi format to the Sendsx file, and just dumped all the sequence data because I didn't need that. So I'm just going to call this demo. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy over this second card to the synth, and then I will restore the first card from Midiox. That should be an adequate demo. So that's the first 3 patches. Now I'm going to send the file back. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to put this into data mode. So I'm going to go to card. We don't want card. We want one-way bulk, and this time we want load. Sound, enter, and it's waiting. So now we can send a Sendsx file. We'll go for the demo. As it says there, it's loading. So if we now have a look at the channel patches, it's gone back to the So it's gone back to that one. So it's gone back to the original patch. So that's it for this one. I think I've covered all the main points. I'll put all the links to resources in the description. And if you have any questions, then please put them in the comments and I'll try and help you out with them. So thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll be back a bit quicker with the next video. So until then, bye.